Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Gamecast episode 695. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gast, joined by Mike Sneedy,
What's up?
Corey Feinsod,
Ahoy!
and Tony Korkanakis.
Hello.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners and viewers. We're live on Twitch Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock. Please join us for these conversations. We just finished up the movie cast. We do that first usually. YouTube has all the content if you miss these live broadcasts, though, so subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and we appreciate it. All right, guys. Gamecast 695 now. We just talked about Deadpool. Go check out the movie cast if you didn't see it. What have you been playing? So kick us off, Corey. Anything?
Well, making progress through Final Fantasy VII still.
Okay, good.
So slowly, but
What chapter you on?
7, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
keep checking on, bud.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's
Not very
it's
far, I
going.
guess.
It's halfway. I think it's halfway through the game. But some chapters are longer than others. Like 6 was a pretty short one, I think.
What chapter 7? What are you doing? In the play?
I'm on this I was at a mountain and I had there's
Mount
you're
Coral?
playing as the ninja throwing stars at boxes and
Oh
stuff.
yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a halfway, maybe a little bit more than halfway.
Okay. Yeah. So no, it's great. Combat. The thing about that is the combat is so good. Like
It's very
it's a lot of fun. You can switch between characters. You can change tactics, and sometimes you have to. Like depending on certain bosses you fight or certain enemies, you want to have certain abilities in play and certain characters as play. And sometimes you want the computer to be somebody else because you don't want it to be you just want them to be focused on whatever they're doing and things. So I like that part of it a lot. And the story's been pretty decent. It's just a little slow going right now in the middle, but I think it's building up to something. So that's why.
Yeah, after this next section, you'll get to a part that I think was improved from the source material. So
Oh, cool. No, excited then.
there are some parts in
Nice.
the original 7 I was like, I'm curious to how they're going to handle that because it's a little icky. So
Yeah, cool. Yeah, no, but that's that, and then obviously a lot of Star Wars
Yeah, the
TCG.
card game.
Yep.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I picked up New Vegas last week while we were on the podcast.
Yeah.
So I never played that. So I did load that up on my Steam Deck. I played a little bit of that so far this week. Not much played though, for myself. So not much talk. It does remind me though how much I loved Fallout 3. This game does have that kind of similar charm in the beginning, at least. Like I remember that from 4. Like I never got that instant fun vibe for some reason. I just didn't get that. There's something about I can't put my finger exactly on the feel of it. But like 3 and I guess even New Vegas has like this
vibe.
factor, like this charm. Yeah, something about it just is a completely different vibe than I got from 4. So I just have that right away. As soon as I went in there, I was like, okay, this feels like 3 to me. Like this feels good.
Yeah.
Like this feels.
Nah, you fuck 4. I mean,
That's
it's
what
funny
I
'cause,
just
like,
remember
so
that.
many people
Yeah.
are like been talking to me like, "Hey, which one should I play?" And I'm like, "Well," I was
You
like,
want to
"Do
start
wanna
at the top or the bottom?
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
do you want to go in reverse or do you want to go from bad
Do you
to
want to have a better
better?
experience as you're going
know
through
what?
these games, or a worse experience?
Yeah.
I think 4 is a better starting point for a lot of people, though, because it's dumbed down, but it's prettier and it's more modern. So, and then if they really like Fallout, then they can go into the more nitty-gritty older ones.
I don't think they'll like
That's
4 if they
fine.
start with it. I don't think they'll like Fallout
I
if they
think
start with 4.
I think people like 4 if they don't have any expectations for what Fallout is.
It's gonna be that'll be an interesting experiment, but it's also like you're saying, do you want to put them on a game that you're in a series that you know is not as good, and then be like, all right, it gets better from here? Do people have the time to do that?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like a movie
No,
or a
they'll
TV
be
show.
they'll be like, "Why do I keep having to fucking help these settlements? I don't want to do this anymore." It's like,
Yeah.
You don't
welcome.
have to help sediments.
And then there's 76. I mean, what do you want to do with 76? Seems to be
Actually,
getting better and better.
I was
Blowing up, too.
going to there, but
What was the stat for that game? It was up how much?
Million new users.
Million new
Million,
users for
yeah.
Jesus. This
The
show.
boy
This
gave
show.
his thumbs up.
yeah, too.
Uh,
And like we mentioned in the movie cast, too bad we have to wait, a decade for the next Fallout game because
yeah.
we have to wait still for the next Elder Scrolls game, which, well, we don't even need another Elder Scrolls. Everyone could just play their porn mods of Skyrim over and over again, like forever, and they buy it 18 times. Who cares? Screw Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
No, Elder
I just
Scrolls
feel
is their
like
baby. Like people would riot if they were like, yeah, we're not doing Elder Scrolls.
yeah. I mean,
Should skip it.
I just I just know that
Maybe or
yeah, I don't know. I just know that. Well, I mean, obviously they didn't know that Fallout was going to have the rejuvenation that it had from this show. No, nobody did. Amazon released, as we said on the movie cast, they released all the episodes at once. Didn't sound like they were that confident in it, and now it's just huge. And the press, like just the press, like the game that universe is getting. Like we had mentioned on the movie cast, the streaming of the music, the game's interest is crazy. Um, it's just it's impressive. Yeah, and thank you for joining us, Chiro. By the way, thank you for comments
yeah.
in there. Yeah, I mean, three New Vegas are clearly the people's favorites. Just chiming here myself, I feel like for myself, I've always like I've seen 1 and 2. I was working when they were out. I believe I don't know. 2 was probably
They
before
were
me. I don't know.
much different games. Though.
Yeah, much different games, but 3 is where I started this series, and like that's the one that's just it. Like it's funny because I make fun of 4 and I never played New Vegas, right? So I have one Fallout game as my reference game, but it's so impactful that I love the universe immediately. Like I just love it. I love the idea of it. Like that's how good how it
You
was
got the
for me.
best version of that game. Too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and I got the right version of that. Yeah.
You got
So
with broken steel
yep,
attached.
yep. I had the whole
Yeah.
game of the year pack. I had the whole game of the year. So I got to
No.
play the whole thing, and I went and did all the side stuff. And that was a game I went like I did everything in that game, which happens very few times for me for games, and that's why it was so impactful. But New Vegas has that feel at least. So it's a toss up between what you would start with. I would tell people to start with Fallout 3 though, because it's like if you get through that game, absolutely love it. You can forgive things from other games, I guess, but I would say Fallout 3 myself to start with in that argument. Um, so, but yeah, so that's that. New Vegas for me. That's really it so far. I didn't have much time to game this week, so. Tony?
Yeah, so I finally dove into Unicorn Overlord, and
Oh, nice.
yeah, that game is fantastic.
Cool.
It's really scratching the tactical strategy itch, but almost too much. So like the way it works
Like,
out,
oh, it feels good at the beginning, and then it's like, wait, slow down, slow down. Like,
yeah, because like
burns.
so like what I like about it is like the customization and the gameplay is so deep in terms of like it's not like a tactics style game, right? It's not like Final Fantasy Tactics, and it's not even like Fire Emblem where like you directly control what your characters are doing. It's more like this series called Ogre Battle or Ogre Battle 64 from the Nintendo 64, where you form a squad, right? And you can put whatever units you want in that squad, and then based on like what you literally program. I say program, but it's literally program. Like the squad will perform certain actions and moves depending on what you told them to do. So you could be like, hey, my archer. You can literally go into your archer's like I'm trying to think of a good word for it. AI or like decision tree making, where it's like, hey, archer, if you see an enemy flying unit, you prioritize them and you fucking attack them above anybody else. Doesn't matter if that boss is at 1 HP. I want you to prioritize a flying unit first, right? So you can go in there and do that. And then you could be like, yo, the mage. If there's a mage, I want you to prioritize like armored units, right? Because they're good against like sword fighters and stuff like that, but they're weak to mage and stuff like that. So you kind of like got to juggle like optimally programming your units to have these parameters. So like, and once you get into a battle, you just it automatically plays out. So you'll see like, depending on initiative, like units will go and do certain moves. So you're like, okay, yeah, okay. And it's like that's according to Keikaku or plan, where it's like yes, like my squad's awesome. But then when they fight a squad that like they're not programmed to handle, it's just like you guys are so dumb. Like why do you keep going after this guy? And then you're like, okay, hold up, I gotta redo this, right? So I like that aspect, but if it was only 5 to 10 units I had to worry about, I wouldn't have an issue. But like I'm at 25 plus units now. I'm like, it's a lot, right? It's a lot
of management.
And for the most part, you could just hit a button where it's like optimize, and it's like the game just optimizes it for you. But there are some cases where I'm like, my squad should be able to take care of this. Why isn't it working? And then I got to spend like a minute or two going in and be like, all right, you prioritize this dude, you prioritize this, and then you do it, and you're like, yeah, it works. It's great, perfect, and stuff like that. So wonderful game, great graphics, stories, okay, and stuff like that. The voice acting, I want to praise the English dub in both this and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. But man, we are spoiled these days with English dubs. Like we have come a long way. So it's not just like the '90s, obviously, or the '00s, but like even a decade ago, like English dubs are just not this good. So
Hmm.
Yeah.
No, the Final Fantasy dub is fantastic.
yeah, and I used to be a purist and be like, no, I'll just listen to Japanese. Where it's like, you know what? Maybe I don't want to read so much. I'll just listen, stuff like that. So great game.
Okay. Cool. All right, Mike.
Well, I've been playing my, sports games, the show and the golf game, but I also was feeling the desire to go into Fallout as well. And I was on the fence about which game to go into, but the ending, something about the ending of uh, the show pointed me in the direction of
New Vegas.
New Vegas. I can't imagine why, but um, I did play a little bit of it again, and I'm remembering I'm at Prim right now, which is like basically the second settlement you'll go to usually, and I'm remembering I put so much time in this. I did it on Game Pass, and luckily my Xbox remembers that I bought like all of the expansions as well, so they're all downloaded too. Uh, and yeah, it's funny because I remember I actually went to Vegas like after having played this game. Like this is 14 years ago, and I remember seeing like, oh, Prim's a real city, like stuff like that, like all these names of stuff in the area. I'm like, oh, these are real places around here, and so it'll be interesting to see, because now I've been to Vegas twice or three times since then. What I recognize or know now that about the geographical area that I recognize. But yeah, we'll see how long. I don't know if I'm gonna really stick with this again because there's a lot to do. But so far, yeah, I went into it for almost on a whim, and I've been in there for hours. So
Hmm.
that's the Fallout magic. I mean, I probably put more hours in this game than any other one. Like you, I started with Fallout 3, then went to New Vegas and 4. I like them all, really, but they all sort of bring something a little different
Yeah.
in my mind. But yeah, New Vegas probably has the most flexibility. I don't understand why there's a karma system. Does it even matter in this game? Because
I
it's more about because it tells you like you lose like I stole stuff because fuck it, I'm starting over. I stole stuff from people I'm nice to. But
I did.
overall, I did my big deeds outweigh my petty theft. I assume, and it seemed like they did, but it still tells me I'm losing karma for stealing stuff from good guys. But it also only seems to track really, affinity for each group. So I don't know if karma matters at all.
If I recall correctly, there are certain groups where, or and even NPCs and stuff like that, where if you're too one way or the other, they will or won't like you or whatever. So
Mhm.
it can
It tells
potentially
you that in the
lock you
beginning,
out
but
of
yeah, I think
like
it tells you that in the
interesting.
beginning.
And the other thing I remember reading because everyone's playing these games again now, and like one of the creators or programmers like it was just a headline that said like he wants you to try Caravan. But I tried to play Caravan and I don't fucking understand it. I can't. I'm not gonna do that. Did anyone ever play Caravan in this game? Because it makes no sense.
What's Caravan? Is it the mini
It's the
game?
card game where you have to have like a set of three cards, like playing cards, set up in a certain way, and then you match or fight. I really don't understand it. I tried to play it, and then
Um,
it gives you a holotape that's really just like a bunch of text trying to explain this. I'm like, no, no,
Hmm.
but
Okay.
whatever.
All right.
Caravan, it's interesting, but no.
All right. Let's talk. There's two big things in the news this week. We'll start with the Embracer Group. Embracer Group has gone through some obviously horrible year so far. And it looks like now they're going to they're deciding after selling off some properties, obviously with Gearbox and why am I blanking on the other name? They're big IPs, the big properties they sold off, but they're going to split into 3 companies. So Embracer Group has announced going to go to 3 separate company entities: Asmodee Group, Coffee Stain and Friends, and Middle Earth Enterprises and Friends. So each
Letting
group,
go of their embrace.
yeah, that's what it was. Saber Interactive they sold. But yeah, so the CEO Lars obviously wants to remain long term and active. I'm sure he's getting a nice bonus for this. And I guess each one will deal with its own thing. So, like for instance, Asmodee is a tabletop publisher. Coffee Stain and Friends will focus on indie and AA, single A premium games, free to play games for PC, console, and mobile. Middle Earth Enterprises will focus on the AAA game development with its properties such as Lord of the Rings and Tomb Raider that it has, and so their board game company that has a lot of great IPs: Game of Thrones,
Well, Asmodee
Marvel.
or whatever.
Yeah.
I think I said Asmodee. It might be Asmodee. I don't know.
I-
That's very big news for the board game tabletop side of things because they are basically they were just buying up everything that they possibly
Yeah.
could as far as tabletop
Star
stuff
Wars.
goes. And they
Yeah.
the announcement was like a lot of jargon and like financial talk without saying anything
Yeah.
whatsoever. Like they didn't say anything. They didn't tell you anything. It's just like, what the heck is like, what are you talking about here? But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it impacts the tabletop scene a little bit. But yeah, they did a lot of spending and they're paying for it because they can't afford to.
Yeah, they overspent.
Oh.
They
Mhm.
stupid. So yeah, there's some good IPs though. There, Catan, Exploding Kittens. There's some good stuff that they own. But yeah, I mean that company just overspent. That is I mean, it's just badly mismanaged. But
I
guess
mean, yeah,
what? People,
then
guess who's
within
gonna get rewarded for this? Yeah,
They
very,
came
very
out with some
mismanaged.
interview with him today where he was like, "Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I deserve a fair share of that blame," and I'm like, "Who else would? Like, who else deserves
Who
the blame?"
deserves the blame? Yeah,
buddy?
who are you
Like-
sharing it with?
And he's
I mean,
like,
you're gonna
sometimes the CEO has to accept responsibility. I'm like, what do you mean sometimes? When
you're gonna take all the praise. You gotta also
Yeah.
take all the
yeah,
hate. I mean, when stuff goes right, you're gonna be all over that. When stuff goes wrong, you're gonna have to be all over that also.
Like this is a dude that should absolutely be in like a private plane with Zaslav.
Oh yeah, I bet you're the best buds. I bet you're the best buds.
And again,
Hmm.
something happens to him. Something happens to him.
Things crash
I
all the
just-
time.
Well, again,
Dicks can fall off. I'm fine with that.
we do not, as a podcast, we also don't have the same views and opinions of everybody. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are not necessarily the views. I got to read that whole disclaimer, but yeah, I mean, yeah, they can. I would not lose sleep over that. That's all I'm saying.
Not lose sleep if they lost their dicks.
Jesus. All right. Let's
Honestly,
go to
I don't
some-
think they'd really care that much if they lost their dicks. I think they'd care more if they lost their money.
It's more about the money for them. I mean, like I said, they're getting nice bonuses.
Status.
You know that they are. You know they get nice bonuses. So
They'll buy those cyber dick replacements. Anyway.
Exactly. Yeah, you can get Robo Dick now anyway.
all right. Nintendo Indie Showcase was that last week? Just about towards the end, Thursday, right? Was it Thursday? When did that happen?
That
Doesn't
means
sound
tell us,
right.
Jim.
Did you watch
Huh?
it?
No, I didn't watch it. I just watched some highlights of stuff. So you're gonna be helping us out with leading what was
I didn't
announced
watch it.
and what. Oh, okay.
Oh wow.
I just assumed you did. Well, they announced the Turtles
this-
game there.
Yeah, that's what I took from it.
Yeah, so we have the trailer of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate, which is a roguelike Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. That was the big one that I saw on there that I wanted to talk about. I didn't know something else. But game looks good. I mean, it looks kind of cool, right?
It's Turtles
Um,
Hades, so
Yeah, Turtles Hades. I can't go wrong with that, can you? I mean, really? I don't know.
It looks pretty cool. I'm a little was more high on it at first, then I realized it's a mobile port, and then I also realized that they said you can play cooperatively online, but they didn't mention anything about local, which leads me to believe you probably
there's
can't
no
do
local.
that.
Yeah.
No. So that's coming this July, which is awesome. Timed exclusive for Switch. Yeah, each turtle controls plays a little differently. They all have their own super power ups. You build your characters like power ups throughout the missions until you clear it, but they reset like roguelikes are supposed to, obviously, and you lose most of that stuff. I guess you can get these things called artifacts that you would keep
Yeah,
to
permanent
keep leveling your
upgrades.
character up.
Yep.
Yep, permanent upgrade. So yeah,
Just like Hades.
roguelike. Yep, just like
No,
Hades.
it's still something I'm very interested in.
Obviously, I mean, I think it looks fun. I think it looks good. I'll check it
Yeah,
out, definitely.
got good reviews last year, and not specifically against you, Mike, but I mean, mobile games are not what you think they are these days. Like, one of the biggest
They're
ones in the world
full-fledged
is
games,
Genshin
yeah.
Impact, and
It's amazing.
you watch Genshin Impact, and you'd be like, "Wow, well, it looks decent," and then you're like, "Yeah, it's a mobile game." Be like, "Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah, you
wouldn't
might not
know.
even
Like
realize
you said,
it.
Mike, in our chat, you're like, I can't believe that was a mobile game. So we'll see. Yeah, interesting. We'll see what comes out of it. The rest of it, like, I didn't really, like I said, watch the presentation, but Cat Quest 3, August 8th is coming out. Sorry. So no, I don't know. I the indie stuff is, people really, I don't really like go out and look for it too much myself, but until people talk about it. Yars Rising, which is a side-scrolling action adventure, Yars Revenge version of Yars Revenge that was announced. That was good. So I don't know. There's some stuff that we'll see how it comes out, and we'll see how it goes. But the Turtles game was probably the biggest one from that whole thing. That we'll see how that does on the Switch, and I'm interested in it because, like I said, I haven't played it, so I don't know.
yeah." The timing is going to
Anything
be
else?
important on that
You guys
one,
are
just because Hades 2 is launching in early access, so I feel like they really need to get that out before that happens.
Yeah.
Because they're like,
Yeah.
"Hey, early access."
So let's see.
It's not going to look good for the Turtles.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's a bad mix. Bad timing
I
for
think
that.
they're
So
drawing from a different group of fans. I think
Oh no,
Turtles IP is just Turtles IP.
no, for sure, for sure. But you know, there there's going to be some non-zero number of people where it's like, I've got $30. Do I buy the Turtles game or I buy the sequel to, Game of the Year contender, multiple award winner, first sequel ever for
Super Giant.
Supergiant, thank you. It's like,
I'll never play that game.
it's
Hades, it's a great game.
Yeah.
Great game. Yeah, you should play it. Like that's a kind of game that I think is actually right up your alley. Like I think you'd enjoy that
Well, you
because
like
there's so much to
seafood,
do.
so,
Mhm.
Yeah, like that's a game that you would
I
like.
like
There's
God
no
of War
question.
Valhalla.
Yeah,
There's no question. Like it's the
it definitely
replayability of it
rewards
by
skill
itself.
also. So.
Yeah, the replayability of it. That's the idea. Like that's what you like. You like to, I mean, there's so much to do in it. So I don't know, like those style games. Yeah, Mike, I think you should really check it out. But
Maybe
I'm
this
start with the
turtle
Turtles
game
one.
will
Yeah.
tell me to. Yeah.
yeah, maybe the Turtles one gets you in there. Mike will become
The
the
gateway drug.
I hate open. Mike will become the I hate open world games where he just likes all roguelike games and he doesn't realize it.
I mean, like I never really had a strong opinion about roguelikes, but we'll see.
Yeah. So, all right. Anything else in the news I missed? I don't think so. Not much going on this week in gaming world. No. All right.
We could check it out. Go live here and just make sure. See.
Hey, double check the old Twitter or wherever you guys get your news from. TikTok these days. I don't know where these kids are getting news from. So,
Kingdom Come Deliverance
yeah,
2 was revealed. Oh, you guys into that?
No. So, right.
Larian confirms that they're working on 2 projects.
Oh yeah, I did see that. They also had the Baldur's Gate patch come out. So better villain endings.
Yeah, they're patching endings, but they're not gonna ever make a sequel, so it's interesting.
No, but the new IPs that'd be good. New properties. So
yeah, and then
right.
I think Wizards of the Coast is shopping around for somebody to develop Baldur's Gate 4 because who knew they like money. It's like, oh shit, should probably capitalize
big
on
shock,
this.
Big shock. So
and
all right.
Stellar Blade's uncensored release in Japan prompts criticism of rating system.
Yeah, I think the Japanese president of the EA division over there was like, "How is this passing?" So, in Japan, the equivalent of ESRB is called CERO, CERO.
CERO.
Yeah.
And if any game gets a 0 rating of like
Z.
V, yeah, it's just
Like
it's like a
zero,
death
zero,
kiss.
zero.
Like it's like
It's like AO.
yeah, it's
It's
like
18
AO.
plus.
Yeah,
Around
it's
here.
AO.
Got it.
It's like no game will sell. So like Dead Space, for example, could not be released in Japan because it was
It gets
the
a
worst.
Z rating.
Yeah, it got the Z rating, so it was just like,
Yep.
and that's what he criticized. He's like, so Dead Space got a, got the
Z
Z,
rating?
but
But
Stellar
Stellar
Blade
Blade,
is not.
nah.
So
So,
it's like
so what is Are we talking about beheadings or just that this chick is like pretty
Both.
much naked? Like what is it?
both.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
both.
Because they don't like.
Yeah.
I know they don't like beheadings over there.
Mm-hmm.
Although they do it sometimes, so I'm confused by that. But
No, they're more worried about gore.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So, all right. I think it's going to wrap up the episode then, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, we are live on Twitch Tuesday nights, 8 o'clock. If you missed these live broadcasts, we're over on YouTube. Subscribe to both channels so you get the notifications when we go live and when we post our content over on YouTube. So that's going to wrap it up this week, guys. Once again, we will see you next week. We are out.